till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on, till I reach the top somehow.
Yes, my Stray Dog family, keep moving on. It's time for me to say good night to St. Kitts and Nevis, and time for me to say good night to the entire Eastern Caribbean region, and it's time for me to say good night to the world, because we are coming to you from studio local in St. Kitts and Nevis. We are joined by Win FM 98.9 on your FM dial, and we are hailing our brothers and sisters in the Kittitian and Nevisian diaspora. We started somewhat tardy tonight, deliberately, because we were waiting to hear the news of the achievements thus far in the first 100 days of the Jew administration. The Stray Dog family, for those of you in the diaspora, I say good night. I can't say good morning, and I can't say good evening, because one of such greetings will be applicable to you in the region that you now find yourselves. You may be in Africa, you may be in Asia, you may be in Europe, you may be in North America. So, greetings again, and welcome to another edition of Straight Talk. We deliberately started at 15 minutes after 8 o'clock tonight. I trust you got that message, and you are, wherever you are, with me tonight. If you are joining me for the first time, Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, you do have a forum to express yourselves freely. Let's, in the process, continue to keep St. Kitts and Nevis as the freest country, one of the freest countries in the entire world. In this program, we try to raise the level of national consciousness. We try to raise the level of national discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liburd, and I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. Tonight, I want to welcome you, and as usual, we do commence with our observations in review. And I said we just heard from the Honorable Prime Minister, Terence Drew, Dr. Terence Drew, that should be. And but our first observation tonight is in the form of a congratulatory message, so to speak, to Prime Minister Drew for helping a passenger who fell ill on board an American Airlines flight from Miami to St. Kitts. And PM Drew, as I said before, he's a much better doctor than he is a politician or an accountant. And as he confirmed as well that he is a doctor, and once a doctor, always a doctor.
Once a doctor, always a doctor. That I was in a position to help that patient, and for all who were on board, a hostess and all those who were passengers who were seeking to help others chimed in as well, and so we were able to help that patient and their family, and we had a good outcome. Once a doctor, always a doctor. You can't throw away the stethoscope. So I was happy that I was in a position to help that patient, and for all who were on board, a hostess and all those who were passengers who were seeking to help others chimed in as well, And so we were able to help that patient and their family, and we had a good outcome.
And yes, my Straight Dog family, once a doctor, always a doctor. And for information that Prime Minister Jew assisted a passenger who fell ill on board. My Straight Dog family, I'm going to give you your extra 15 minutes tonight. But I'm minded if I should not just open the lines. If you indicate by just calling, because the Honorable Prime Minister just spoke to the nation, cataloging his performance or the performance of his administration in the first 100 days. Really, to me, it did not matter whether it was 1 day, 20 days, 30 or 40 days. I believe any government once elected ought to hit the ground running, because they ought to have come with a plan, and all it needs is the execution of that plan. But if you so indicate by calling the numbers are 663-6672 and or 646-829-6672. And perhaps I'll get your reaction on the news, if any, you got from the Prime Minister's national address tonight as it relates to its first 100 days. I, for one, was expecting great things, and I was expecting great announcements in terms of what is going to be done, but I don't know if my hopes were too high. But that's what it is. Now, I can, as I said, open the lines. I can do so right away. In the event you're so minded to participate, then I want to implore you to respect others. And of course, first of all, you must respect yourselves. I want you to be fair to all concerned, and in all the things you say and do, we trust they will be beneficial to all concerned, and in saying and doing those things, we ought to strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. But since you have not indicated, I will perhaps pursue with my planned program. And there's one political activist, we don't always agree and see eye to eye, but one political activist suggested that Prime Minister Jew can become a great leader. And that political activist had this to say.
Respectfully, Dr. Simmons, he cannot be recorded as having been a great leader or prime minister. Then came Dr. Douglas in 1995, and he stayed for 20 years. His leadership of the country cannot, in fairness and reason, be classified as the performance of a great leader. By 2015, people seem to be tired of the old ways. And in came Team Unity, as they were then known, under the leadership of Dr. Timothy Harris. He was given his chance, but the change that he pledged never came. So, on the basis of this evidence, it is logical and fair to conclude that none of the three predecessor prime ministers, Simmons, Douglas, and Harris, none of them was a great leader. Now we have Terence Drew, who can become a great leader. Respectfully, Dr. Simmons did have some achievements, but in the mix of it all, he cannot be recorded as having been a great leader or prime minister. Then came Dr. Douglas in 1995, and he stayed for 20 years. His leadership of the country cannot, in fairness and reason, be classified as the performance of a great leader. By 2015, people seem to be tired of the old ways. And in came Team Unity, as they were then known, under the leadership of Dr. Timothy Harris. He was given his chance, but the change that he pledged never came. So, on the basis of this evidence, it is logical and fair to conclude that none of the three predecessor prime ministers, Simmons, Douglas, and Harris, none of them was a great leader. Now we have Terence Drew, who can become a great leader.
Well, my Street Dog family, it can be logical and fair to conclude that two of our former prime ministers were doctors, and combined they served or ruled for 32 years, 32 long years. And their performance, I would agree, cannot be classified as great leaders. So if we apply the laws of probability, then it stands to reason that Terence Drew, a good medical doctor like Simmons and Douglas, can never become a great leader. Well, that in time we will determine and establish. Now, our second observation relates to our sister island, Nevis, which is not known for protests. But Friday gone, the NRP held a silent protest in Charlestown, which culminated with short presentations from the NRP leaders. And the short presentations by the leaders that were present.
On the NRP, we brought Bowling Communications, we brought NEPAC, we had the airport working, and it wasn't because we just wanted these things to work. We understood that this is how you provide jobs for your people. And the sad thing is that we look at our premier right now and says if a business wants to leave, it's a business decision. Now when we would have taken so much and given to businesses in concessions, after they have made their profits, they can just walk away. No, not on the NRP. Development in Nevis is about helping the people of Nevis. And when you do not understand your responsibility in government, you will get a project to build a park. And rather than giving your people here work, you took the project and brought in workers. How do our people feel?
The silent protests by Stray Dog family in Nevis attracted the police with guns. Yes, believe it or not, the silent protests held by the NRP attracted the police with guns. But the leaders still presented.
We have a lot to protest about. But you know what? They told me, go easy. They said this afternoon, just focus on the fact that when I go to the supermarket, I cannot afford the food. I have to be putting back stuff. Last year, mind you, when I went to buy a box of chicken, the chicken was costing me $15. Now this afternoon, when I go, it's $33. So that means that inflation and just chicken alone is 100%. And guess what? We're not getting any relief. And that, I think, is the troubling thing. Because when we elect a government, we elect a government to hear the cries of the people and respond in kind. This afternoon, we came with a silent protest and they sent police with machine guns.
Yes, police with machine guns. Meantime, the CCM candidate still in Nevis, Latoya Jones, was launched at Barnscott in Nevis just on Tuesday last week.
Tonight, the improbable hope, the impossible dream, becomes the undeniable reality. I stand here tonight, humbled by the opportunity given to me, and grateful for the trust and confidence bestowed upon me. I am a Banscott woman, a proud BG woman. Growing up in this small, secluded, and intimate village has taught me love, compassion, and care for others. It is such upbringing that has caused me to stand here tonight as your CCM candidate for St. Thomas's. It is such upbringing, such molding, such nurturing that has brought me to this stage in my life where I am ready to be your next representative for St. Thomas's.
Young Latoya Jones of the CCM. In the interim as well, CCM has launched its campaign, but you would recognize that the campaign has taken them overseas from the beginning. But they have also launched a pork barrel project just before the next elections. They have launched this pork barrel project.
This project initially started at a cost of over $13 million for that phase of the work. And I'm happy to report that we are settling at a figure of just about $11.7 million for this phase of the work. I also want to take this opportunity to thank the Bank of Nevis for being a steadfast partner with the island of Nevis and the Ministry of Communication by funding this project to the tune of some $11 million. And I believe that that is a vote of confidence in the Nevis Island Administration to loan the people of Nevis and to loan the Nevis Island Administration $11 million to have this project executed.
A vote of confidence, we are told by the Bank of Nevis, by pumping $11 million as a loan into an economy in Nevis which has gone south. But as we continue tonight, we also continue to demand transparency and accountability in respect of our CBI program. Prime Minister Drew, in a recent interview, said that he was traveling to the Middle East with a view towards strengthening the program for its longevity. Now, most of the CBI business is done in China and Russia. But yes, international marketing agents are found mostly in the Middle East, in Bahrain, in Cyprus, Egypt, Kuwait, the UAE, and other countries. But many of you have asked me to continue lobbying on your behalf for information, and I will do so because I am not a palace guard. Now, the Prime Minister is heading next to the Middle East. He made that announcement just on Sunday.
We are now thinking of a trip to strengthen our CBI program. As you know, our CBI program is fundamentally leveled in that part of the world. And as I've said, and we have promised, and as an administration, that we will do what is necessary to strengthen the program for its longevity and make sure we do everything that is necessary. And part of that is to travel there and to alert what we are doing in terms of strengthening the program, and so that those who are involved can be aware. And so that is the next trip that is being thought of, and I would say the initial stages of the planning process has started. But once confirmed, as usual, we will update our nationals here in St. Kitts and Nevis as to what our plans are.
Yes, the next trip, according to Prime Minister Drew, his next trip will be to the Middle East to promote and strengthen the CBI program. And that means, if we interpret it, more economic citizens. Straight Talk has, however, confirmed, and it bears repeating, that Prime Minister Drew has signed 2,000 CBI applications, mainly for the prison project, since assuming office. The Prime Minister has not denied that fact, but he continues to deny the people of this federation the right to freedom of information, one of his many campaign promises he has failed to deliver. It is this information classified as a state secret, or I should ask, is this information classified as a state secret that Prime Minister Jew continues to hide? We were told before by the former Prime Minister that the country has already processed 16,544 economic citizens. So from 2018 to 2022, because that was in 2018 under the Team Unity administration, we have never got that information, and I would continue to say it is wrong. And until we get that information, I will continue to state that it is important we have it. But we now have the Labour Party in office and Prime Minister Jew at its helm, who has stubbornly refused to give the country the information, and that is wrong. And for the want of me, I cannot understand why these people in the media don't seek this information, because it is important. And as I said, two wrongs can never make it right. Prime Minister Jew said it's a new day and promised a better way. So each time I get the opportunity, I will thus remind us all that citizens are the base of democracy. And for that reason, it is important to know the breakdown of the different nationalities that have acquired passports under our program. How many Chinese, how many Russians, how many Nigerians, Iranians, and the list goes on. All we need to know, Prime Minister, is how many applications you have signed since assuming office. And we need to know a breakdown of every nationality of the 30,000 persons, approximately, that have acquired passports under our CBI. The other state secret is in Nevis. In fact, there are two NIA secrets. One, to expand the Vance Amory Airport through a lease or sale agreement with an Egyptian or a Russian billionaire. And that is being held to the chest of Mark Brantley. What is troubling though, because property owners have already been approached in relation to the proposed expansion of the Vance Amory Airport in Nevis, and the secret lease or sale agreement about which the Premier of Nevis has not provided any information whatsoever is troubling Nevisians. They have told me about it. Is the law firm of Brantley and Associates doing or have done any legal work for these investors? Is there anything in it for Mark Brantley? And he must be true. He must say if it is true. And if it is, then he must also say who are these investors. However, I continue to say that I'm keeping in touch with our friends in the USA, Canada, and the United Kingdom, who will protect us and help us to further investigate this troubling development on Nevis. The other national secret relates to the MSR Media Limited, whose principal director was invited to Nevis, of St. Kitts and Nevis, during COVID, when the country was shut down. And he came with an empty briefcase, but is now well positioned by Drew and Brantley to plunder the treasuries in St. Kitts and Nevis simultaneously. And that, to me, is troubling.
Mark Brantley, who is the Premier of Nevis, by the economy.
Yes, there is a financial arrangement with MSR. I believe the number is $150,000.
We are prepared to do 35 films over the next 5 years. Along with our development, we are finalizing the purchase of a hotel in St. Kitts so that we can have a base to produce and train people in St. Kitts.
Yes, and and as we have spoken before, that you will definitely have our support.
And yes, we know the arrangement with Brantley and Nevis, $150,000 US per month. But what is the financial arrangement with Prime Minister Drew here on St. Kitts? How can an investor come to St. Kitts Nevis with no money and in short order is buying a hotel? What's going on in our country? But there is more to come. But for now, those are my observations in review for tonight. But we will continue to bring this information in relation to the Vance Amory International Airport expansion, the MSR Media Limited contracts with St. Kitts and Nevis, and all the issues as relates to the development in our country. They have gone quiet, pretending they are ignoring me, but we will continue to drum it in their ears until we get answers. My thesis tonight, my Straight Talk family, is Attorney General Wilkin cherry picks the rule of law. And I crave your participation because when I listen to the utterances of this public figure who comes across as being zealous and quite capable of acting without the constraint of law when he wishes to do so. When I read the content of 2 press releases from the Office of the Attorney General, I became troubled, and you must be as well. And I'm told he has attempted to show some remorse, but he has not rescinded any of the releases in which he has vilified certain ordinary and hard-working professionals who all came from humble beginnings in St. Kitts and Nevis. Just a few days ago, the Attorney General went on another public rant, and I say so respectfully. And he said this, my Straight Talk family.
Procurement Act has been breached left, right, and center. No procurement. The contracts that I spoke about in my press release, no procurement, right? I know that the going rate for the services that were provided is around $2,000 a month. People are getting paid $27,000 a month. People need to know these things because it's their money.
And yes, we need to know, but we're not going to cherry pick. The problem we should all have is the fact that Attorney General Wilkin, Attorney General Wilkin continues to deploy privileged material or privileged information to support his rantings, or as someone put it, his pomposity. The Attorney General must know, as he claimed that he is a litigator, then he must know that he should take a cautious approach. And I'm not a lawyer, but common sense tells me that the court will require disclosure of any further privileged or confidential material that he is using to bolster his public reckless accusations. A court will, for example, require further disclosure to avoid unfairness or misunderstanding of the confidential information. The same Procurement Act he refers to, for example, if my memory serves me well, it speaks to emergency procurements. Has he addressed that? No, I have not heard that. But the AG is picking parts of the confidential information he found in his office and continues to release it into the court of public opinion. This is egregious. It is unpardonable. It is outrageous. Since he found fault with the open interactive contract, for example, can the AG say, The e-platform government.kn was maintained by Open Interactive. Who, if anyone, has replaced Open Interactive? And if so, is there another service provider engaged to maintain the platform? These are some of the questions. Since coming to office in August, can the Attorney General confirm, can he give the public the assurance that all, underline, all goods and services have been tendered in accordance with the procurement legislation? The Attorney General must educate the masses properly and stop cherry-picking the rule of law. It seems like a logical fallacy. When the AG only focuses on evidence that supports the political stance he has taken and ignores evidence which contradicts it. That, to me, represents a failure in reasoning which tenders an argument that invalidates his proposition of corruption. He must be engaged in cherry-picking, since he continues to cite the small number of contracts out of, no doubt, the thousands of contracts for goods and services which were signed on behalf of the government of the day. The AG sits in the cabinet with the Deputy Prime Minister, my good friend Jeffrey Handley, and I mean no disrespect, but Jeffrey, while he managed PEP, over $2 million of the people's money was spent with his nephew's business in Florida. But the AG spoke about $874,000 and no procurement. No procurement, he said, after spending $874,000.
Procurement Act has been breached left, right, and center. No procurement. The contracts that I spoke about in my press release, no procurement. Procurement Act has been breached left, right, and center. I've seen one contract for $874,000, no procurement. The contracts that I spoke about in my press release, no procurement.
The rate for a Queen's Counsel is $1,485 per hour. That works out to be $25 per minute. And mathematics is my strongest weak point, so forgive me if I am in error. But in an 8-hour day, the Queen's Counsel's bills, or bills the clients, $11,880 per day. And if he works for 5 days, then he bills $59,400 per week. Imagine if he's engaged for a year. That amounts to over $3 million, which is $257,000 per month. What was your charge rate per hour, Attorney General? Was there procurement for the over $2 million spent with Jeffrey's nephew in Florida? These are questions that you cannot ignore. Full disclosure is what we need. The files in your office, Mr. Attorney General, would reflect that up to February 2015, a certain law firm had a retainer contract for years with the AG's office for $30,000 per month. Do you know that firm? What position would you take if you worked for a law firm that was contracted by government without tendering or following the procurement legislation? Would you seek also to embarrass the law firm as you earlier threatened when you found out that there was no procurement process done for these services? The said law firm was engaged to provide legal services by a particular statutory corporation. Was there a procurement tender for these legal services? As a public officer, it must be improper to cherry-pick the rule of law. The Office of the Attorney General published a release about the hush puppy matter. And I must commend A.J. Wilkin for expediting conveyance of the MLAT requests for or by the United States of America. The draft MLAT request, beg your pardon, dated September 15, 2021, we understood remained unapproved by the former Attorney General. On October 21, after an inquiry into the status of the investigation by the current Attorney General, he has provided with a copy of the draft. He was provided with a copy of the draft MLAT request and has been in direct communication with the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis police force to finalize its forwarding to the United States. And again, the MLAT, the Mutual and Legal Assistance or Legal Agreement Treaty, to get evidence from the United States of America. I must commend the AG for expediting that process. What went wrong? In time we'll find out. But the delayed request has decelerated its progress, and we trust that the evidence would come forth as it relates to what people or citizens from St. Kitts and Nevis, what part they played in this hush puppy matter. We know that Hush Puppy has been sentenced to 11 years in prison. We don't know how Hush Puppy got his passport. We know he was in Dubai, but that no doubt will come out in the investigation. The other issue concerns the offshore financial sector in Nevis. The Attorney General cherry picks the rule of law. Because in Nevis, and according to the Financial Services Regulatory Commission Act, Cap 21.10, an act to establish the Financial Services Regulatory Commission to regulate providers of financial services, except for financial services covered by the Banking Act, and to provide for related or incidental matters. The Commission is established and is comprised of the following commissioners approved by the Minister of Finance. One person nominated by the Governor of the Central Bank, Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. The Financial Secretary of St. Kitts and the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Finance in Nevis. One person nominated by the Minister responsible for Finance in St. Kitts, and one person nominated by the Minister responsible for Finance in Nevis, who is Mark Brantley. The Director of the Financial Intelligence Unit, and one person nominated by the Minister responsible for Legal Affairs. That's the AG, and this would have been, no doubt, the former AG. Now, the FSRC is the ultimate regulatory body for AML safety with the jurisdiction, or within the jurisdiction. Now, the FSRC St. Kitts branch, and that's the Financial Services Regulatory Commission, the St. Kitts branch, is responsible for licensing, regulation, and the supervision of FIs and DNFBs in St. Kitts Nevis. The Nevis Financial Services Regulation and Supervision Department is responsible for the licensing, regulation, and supervision of the same. It conducts fiduciary and international financial services business. Legal persons and legal arrangements in St. Kitts Nevis must be incorporated by registered agents within the registries in the FSRC St. Kitts and Nevis. Now, the Eastern Caribbean Securities Regulatory Commission is the regional body which regulates securities. But my straight dog family, There is a January 22nd mutual evaluation report on anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism, financial or finance matters. And the executive summary of this report reads, and I quote, "The report summarizes the AML CFT measures in place in St. Kitts and Nevis as of the date of the on-site visit during March 15 to 26, 2021. And the AML is the anti-money laundering, just in case you didn't understand, and the CFT is the counter-terrorism finance measures in place in St. Kitts and Nevis. Recommendations and the level of effectiveness of St. Kitts and Nevis, or Nevis' system, provides recommendations on how the systems could be strengthened. Having perused the mutual evaluation report, which summarizes the anti-money laundering and CFT measures in place as of the date of the on-site visit, it analyzed the level of compliance with the FATF 40 recommendations and the level of effectiveness of the system, and recommends how the system is evaluated. Now, my Straight Talk family, the key findings and recommended actions were, amongst others, A. St. Kitts and Nevis conducted its first NRA during the period of January 2018 to July 2019, and a follow-up during the period 2020 to March 2021. Factors which limited the country's understanding of risk included inadequate assessment of national and sectorial threats, data collection challenges, and partial involvement of the private sectors. Now, my Straight Talk family, for that reason, I ask and other reasons, I ask the following question. Does the Attorney General have, or should the public have, does the Attorney General have, or should the public have confidence in the financial system operating in St. Christopher and Nevis? Is there an environment of non-compliance in 2 offshore banks in Nevis? Was there any financial assessment done, or did the Attorney General receive any reports from the regulator in Nevis informing of the numerous claims in the amounts of hundreds of millions of dollars, while the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force has an outstanding warrant of arrest for the principal director of one of these banks on Nevis? In the face of the complaints by the regulator, is the Minister of Finance in Nevis, Brantley, repeatedly issuing a clean bill of health to the sector? The question is therefore, how does the sector obtain a clean bill of health when, like the patient, it is sick? If so, why hasn't the Attorney General recommended the closure of the 2 banks in Nevis? Is it because Mark Brantley is his friend and now pretending to be a close political ally of the Labour Party? Well, I submit, therefore, that the AG continues to cherry-pick the rule of law. That's my story tonight, and I am not going to change it. I will open the lines, my Straight Talk family, and entertain your calls and your emails. I want again to implore you, when I do so in a few seconds, respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned. Let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us ensure that the things we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in doing and or saying those things, let us, my Straight Talk family, strive to build a kinder St. Kitts and Nevis. The numbers are 663-6672 and or 646-829-6672. You heard the Prime Minister tonight as well. We were all looking for a wow. I don't know if you got that wow. I surely did not after his first 100 days. We heard about a double salary or extra salary in November. I knew it was false, but I think that's what they do. They peddle these things to excite us. But if the country is broke, how on earth can you expect to get a double salary? The fact that the Prime Minister said the country was broke, it was his way of telling you, you're not going to get the double salary. But we'll wait and see, my Straight Dog family. This is what I raised tonight. You may have other things to raise yourselves. So the lines are open. I'll entertain your calls, my Straight Dog family, as we go from here on. It's 4 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour. Because we started late, waiting for the Prime Minister, we'll give you back your time. Don't you worry about that, my Straight Dog family. This message reads, Mr. Attorney General, I was one who welcomed you in your position initially and said, good choice. At least there's going to be a measure of fair play, impartiality, fairness, and equity, because I knew you well and what you stand for. But sad to say that when you publicly said that Douglas was your children's godfather and the excellent relationship you always had with other ministers of the Labour Party tells me clearly that you will not be what I really thought. If you are only going to be on the Labour political radio station to be interviewed by persons like Martin Conda and others, all of whom have an abiding grudge against Dr. Harris, that does not make any sense. Demonstrate the balance and equilibrium you once were propelling by availing yourself on Patches, Patches radio show to be interviewed. You said you are a frequent listener to Freedom. What about Straight Talk? Come on, Mr. AG, take your time. And do not allow Dwyer to precipitate you into bringing Trump up charges against anyone, for he too has an incessant hatred against the Harris family for what I don't know, reads that email. My Straight Talk family, it's 6 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour. Again, the lines are open. I'll entertain your calls. I'll entertain your emails. I just did. But again, the email address is Straight Talk Patches, StraighTPATCHES @gmail.com. That's one word, Straight Talk Patches @gmail.com. And my Straight Talk family, yes, we are looking at the actual cherry picking, as we call it, of the rule of law. And my Straight Dog family, you can raise any issue you wish to raise as well. But as I said, for those of you who just joined me, for those of you who may have just joined me, that the numbers are 663-6672 and 646-829-6672. At 8 or 7 past 9, beg your pardon, I go to the lines and say, caller, you are live. Good night.
Hello?
Yes, sir, you're live.
Yes, good evening, Patches.
How are you, my brother?
Oh, yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Okay, cool, just relaxing.
You're cool.
You know something that I don't understand? I think the Calypsonian from Sandy Point. I don't remember his name, but he lives in Anguilla. I think he passed now.
Yes.
He got a Calypso by the name of Come Out From Hiding.
Oh.
Where are all of those who used to criticize Dr. Douglas and Labour? Why are they hiding now? Now you had unity and they were still criticizing. Unity gone. Now Labour back in. And they're free to criticize. Come on, man, let your conscience be your guide. Anyway, let me go here now. This man here, this politician who said that Dr. Simmons, Dr. Douglas, and Dr. Harris, they not live up to what they was expected to be. And Dr. Joe could be a good doctor, or whatever he call it, his word. Well, I want he to look in his own book first. Was he a good politician? Was he a good parliamentarian? Where he get tangled up with confusion down La Valley Golf Course? And then he wouldn't say why he saw in it. So when he come on being judged for all them leaders of the country, let you look at himself first. Enough of that. Let me go to Mr. Man of Newtown now. The Deputy Prime Minister. I want to know if the Attorney General gonna look into the amount of money that he get from the PEP and send it to Florida to pay his family. Let him look into that. Since he want to go in the Treasury, because some people never friendly with the Treasury. All that there is what he got to look into and get that fixed up. Otherwise, he ain't doing nothing.
Can I say? I'm really sorry to interrupt you. Can I say to you, though, right, that the money that was referred to was purchases for the PIP from his nephew's business in Florida. Okay. So let's be clear on that. So we gotta be careful. PEP spent over $2 million. That's a fact. PEP spent over. Our government spent over $2 million. For PEP when he managed the program. That's a fact. So I want to be clear on that. So let's tread some straight lines here.
Right.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt you, though.
That's okay, man. Which government the PEP belongs to, Florida or St. Kitts?
But it'd be interesting to know if there was a procurement legislation and the files would be there. It'd be good for the AG to find that out. The recent files.
Good thing. Yeah. Now, it has been said locally that Dr. Joe, he is a good PCP doctor.
A good what?
PCP means primary care practitioner.
Okay.
And then it happened so that it was proven on the flight coming from Miami. If the person never faking it, that everybody could say, well, that's the Prime Minister for St. Kitts, he was helpful on the plane. Only God knows. Well, I want to say to him, if he's such a good primary care practitioner, I think he should stick to that and give up the leadership of a Prime Minister. Because his utterance does not sound like a leader, and he makes a lot of promises during election, and we are not seeing them now. Remember, he said that the PAP, you were going to increase the PAP. But instead of increasing, it decrease. Because a lot of people who was getting the PAP, they are grumbling, moaning, can't pay the light bill and the water bill, and everybody bawling mother. They were looking for an increase, but instead of that, it's decrease. So I am calling on him to live up to his promises. Now, earlier talk, he said that the country was good. The economy of the country was well good. And so we see that the economy was good because with the amount of traveling they have done. And then he said his next trip, that means he's a trip Prime Minister. The first traveling they do, they went to where came from Plateaus with 15 of them. 15. And that showed that the country economy was good. And then the second trip, they went to Taiwan. And then all of that, they come from the economy money. But when Kelly workers them declare that they want the honorary money, that is when he said the country is in red. Because he want them to say, well, by the money they ain't so let me done with this thing. And he want other people now who are going to come forward to get the honorary money. They're going to forget about it because he said the country is in red. That is a tricky working on the people And just like now he said, I understand that he wants to pay double salary in November. So I don't know if Christmas come up in November. Well, if you pay double salary in November, that will be good. But what going to happen December now? December going to get another double salary? Anyway, I'll come back again, Patrick, because you said that, eh?
Can I ask you a question, though? Did you
Yes.
did you listen to the address tonight?
I listened to you say it.
Okay, but he didn't mention that extra salary.
No, he ain't mention it.
Okay,
But he come to my antenna, then why I got him a mango tree, my skinny tree.
Okay.
That at double salary, it is said that he gonna pay it.
Okay.
So let me use the word alleged come out to me mango tree, my skinny tree antenna.
Okay, my brother.
You said a lot tonight, but we can't deal with all of them different, but we can deal with what we can deal with. But I'm going to come back.
Thank you for your input.
Yes.
Dear brother, thanks for your intervention. And it's very interesting, my Straight Dog family, because, yes, we heard about an extra month's salary for November, but I believe that, well, I don't know, I should say. I having said that the country is in the red, I think that he was preempting all the expectations of a double salary, and perhaps he has to disappoint us. But my Straight Dog family will wait and see, because November salaries are paid later down. But you're so right about the PAP, and people are suffering.
Not be fooled. Do not let no nice show and no nice thing fool you. The $500 we are getting now from the PAP thing, it is so helpful. I wish I could triple it up. It's so helpful. It comes in so handy.
Yes, people were looking forward to this PAP. We understand there's a re-registration that should have started. Where it has gone, one don't know. In terms of the national address tonight, I don't know if we really heard anything that excited us. I surely listened, and not much excited me, if anything at all. But as I said tonight, dealing with our thesis tonight, the Attorney General cherry picks the rule of law. Because when we listen to his utterances, he comes across as someone who is zealous, someone who is quite capable of acting without the constraint of law, when and if he wishes so to do. And that is troubling. He has issued press releases, and I'm told that he has attempted to show some remorse, but he has not withdrawn, he has not rescinded any of the releases in which he has vilified certain ordinary and hard-working professionals who all came from humble beginnings in St. Kitts and Nevis. Just a few days ago, he continued his rant. He continued his public rant. And we asked ourselves, why is he behaving this way when he said this?
$1,000, no procurement. The contracts that I spoke about in my press release, no procurement. Right? I know that the going rate for the services that were provided is around $2,000 a month. People are getting paid $27,000 a month. People need to know these things because it's their money.
Yes, we need to know not the selected few things. We need to know all the things. All. Caller, you are live. Hello, caller?
Yeah, Patrick.
So?
Yeah. when unity in the power, right? Yeah, the lady come on his tongue, every night because in session as she left to representative. And when they say she left to representative now, because they make it out of him.
So,
Good night.
Take some time. Could you repeat what you said just now?
I said, you got the lady come on his tongue.
Irish tongue?
Every night, yeah. Every time the unity was in power.
Mm-hmm.
Every time she called in, so now she elected representative.
Okay.
But when they say she elected representative now, because every minute they got to complain, we can't see my neither. Good night.
Good night, my brother. Well, there's a lot of extraordinary traveling ongoing as as we speak. My Straight Dog family, all over the world, they have gone, and if you really check, they have really traveled the globe. All over the globe, they have gone to my Straight Dog family. If I get some time, I'll tell you exactly where they went to. In the first 100 days, this is just a glance at where they went to. My dear brother Samuel, the Honorable Samuel Duggins, has been to Trinidad, New York, Antigua, and Costa Rica. My good friend, I love this lady, Dr. Joel Clark. Forgive me. I just like her, you know, I like her attitude, I like her her intellect. All I tell her, just do not make the man from number 6, where she's from, her role model. We laugh about that. But she has been to Bahamas. She's been to Taiwan, New York, Antigua, South Korea, Taiwan. I said that before. Yeah, South Korea. Twice in Bahamas. And I believe she's right now at COP in Egypt. Congress Maynard, the Honorable Congress Maynard, has already been to New York, Romania. I understand he was scheduled to visit COP in Egypt, COP 27. He's already been to the Bahamas twice. Honorable Marsha Henderson has already been to New York, Dominican Republic, and Miami twice. Well, tourism demands a lot of travel. That's what I saw from the last minister. The Honorable Denzel Douglas, the Right Honorable Denzel Douglas, has already been to the United Kingdom, Barbados, New York, Peru, Washington, D.C., and Taiwan. I understand he's maybe, just maybe, in Dubai. I stand to be corrected. Young Islaian Philip has been to Switzerland and Taiwan. And Dr. Drew has already been to New York, Barbados, Manhattan, Taiwan. And he continues to travel, my Straight Dog family. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller?
Hello.
Yes, my brother, you're live.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Yes. Can I ask you a question? You gotta offline give me the size of that thing you asked me for. Okay?
Well, you come, the size is, a trees, XL.
Whatever that. Okay. Okay, my brother.
XL.
Yep.
You understand?
I heard you, my brother.
It's not a lot, XL.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Now, I'm going to ask you a question because the age of me today, I am 73 years. And I'm going to ask you a question. What is the meaning of a Labour Party? What is the meaning of that, Mr. Brother?
What's the meaning of a Labour Party?
What do you mean of Labour?
Well, it suggests that it's a party of that represent the masses, working class.
Okay. Okay.
Now, the reason I asked you that, I know Mr. Bratcher. And Mr. Bratcher was a labor man. And when he helped people himself he helped people from the gutter and put them on the mountain top. And the inside worship the man and they call him Papa Bratcher. And I'm telling you tonight, labor mean love. You look after the poor people. But I can tell you something. Right? See, Mr. President, the labor country don't know. The word labor gone to the door. So I am depending on my yard to look after me. Me not take on people. Not depend on me, God. Because people only got in there and nobody got no love in the heart for people. The honest man I see was trying to come to the day is Timothy Harris. Nobody else. Mr. Pratt and Mr. Patrick, please stay humble before God. You hear me? And Mr. Patrick is going to be before God, and he will help you along the way. And no devil in hell, Mr. Patrick, could stop you. Have a pleasant night, Mr. Patrick. Bye.
Have a pleasant night, my dear brother. He goes back to the lines. Caller, it is 9:26. You are live.
Good night. How are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself? Sounds like Alice in Wonderland.
Ooh, I don't have no friends, so in school Friday night. So all those what you're talking about, I can't talk about them. I'm talking about what I want to say, right? That's good.
It's your show. It's your show, my dear. Straight Talk is your show. It's a people's show.
Well, no, what I want to say, some wrong things just happen. If people have contract, they should let them finish any government. It's not Timothy doing nothing. He is a labor man, and we love him so much. The doctor he can become. The doctor, what he can become. But when, if he not staying to do nothing, joyriding every time, it's not it. Culture so right. This is my story now. Mr. Liburd, when I said the best prime minister was doing, people just vex with me. A busman say, I am backing up wrong. I don't know what is wrong. If he did not go for his tires, it's not me to blame. Don't vex with me. The prime minister, best prime minister, used to give $500, $1,000 for people who was not working. That was not good. And the cheap to get him out. We had stoplights, the roads all around. You was with him, 2 bus terminals, and 1 to pick up ticket. They find fault with it. The peer, they find fault too with that. That's the good Timothy was doing. Let them out. Let them out what they want to say about Timothy. The cheaters, all who was around him, they was pretending. They know they wasn't for him, and nothing was doing. If Taiwan will be helping us, that's nothing new. They was helping all the time. And if a salary will be in November, what the December salary will name to get back a coming in? A man talk about somebody in Irish tongue. What he say about the person in Irish tongue? Because I am living in Irish tongue. And what I want to say, I could say. I paid me own money and I'm going to talk all the time. I'm near pay for my program. What the man say? You could tell me or you want to tell me?
He says he's not seen his representative. He Never see.
Yeah, but why he bring in Irish tongue?
What?
But you see, Mr. Liburd, when somebody bring in something and you know you did, you have to pick it up. If it is a new tongue or village, I wouldn't have picked up nothing. See you till I come back.
Have yourself a good night, my dear Alice. You mentioned contracts, but you know, governments are continuous, or a government is continuous. So we'll hear much more. I'm sure we'll hear plenty more about these contracts that they have nullified, because that's not how the world works in terms of agreements which are legal agreements. So I trust that common sense will prevail. Caller, you live.
Yes, Patrick, I'm back with my second do. Now, Patrick, there are many places that you say Samuel Duggins have been to. And then now Miss Clark. Now, with all those countries that they visited, they should bring back investors to the country. And then nobody at all in the Federation will be out of work with the amount of places they travel. So that is only to show the whole world that them they own in the government to spend money, to waste money, and to see what money they could hold on to. This amount of traveling, them they traveling more than the Cypriot pearls they got to go from country to country. Eh? What they think people are shot? People see what they do in the first 100 days in office. Look them what the amount of traveling all of them don't do. It is more than what Dr. Simon do, more than what Dr. Douglas do, more than what Mr. Bratcher do, and more than what Dr. Harris have done. In 100 days, come on people, man. And the next thing, the amount of passport being sold since Dr. Joe is in office. Where they get them citizenship for? To live in other countries or to come here to invest in our country. If all of them people who get passport had to come here to do investment in our country, well, Jamaica wouldn't have nobody up there. Trinidad and Guyana and them place. They will come here to look work. Because the amount of work we will get here for the amount of people got our passport. So you see what they're doing? They're getting our passport because they cannot go to other countries with the passport from the country where they're born. So the boy in the one where they could get to go in other countries, go do the Maldow. You see the one where in jail in America? Others going to. Others going with our passport. So something needs to be done to that. Well, I got one more thing to do when I come back, which I know should be priority. So let me move again, let somebody's coming.
Thank you, my brother. Glenn Bart, as a journalist, reads this email. I must confess that your reporting on political matters are very unimpressive. I have been following over the years, and frankly speaking, I find you are very one-sided and biased in your reporting against the former Prime Minister, Dr. Harris. As a professional journalist, you have to be fair, honest, balanced, and truthful in your reporting, and you all these qualities, and you have all these, and you don't have all these qualities. You need to divorce yourself from your strong support of the Labour Party over the years and be objective, impartial, factual, and rational when reporting political matters in the Federation. If you are incompetent to abide by these principles, Glenn Bart, then quit reporting for heaven's sake, reads that email. It's 9:33. It's 27 before the 10 o'clock hour, and we started somewhat late tonight. We were actually waiting. We thought it would be a good thing just to wait on the Prime Minister's national address after his first 100 years. I don't get the sense that anyone was excited about the address tonight. You know, we were looking towards hearing some exciting things, plans, you know, afoot. There seemed to be no plan whatsoever in terms of going forward. And that's a difficulty that we all face. You know, there's nothing going on in the government. We thought we'd have heard issues that would point us to plans to deal with the housing, with inflation, you know, with water. What we've been talking about this water for the longest time. What are we doing with electricity, with our renewable energy? And these are some of the issues that have not been addressed. And for my own thinking, I don't know why. Caller, it's 9:34. You're live. Hello, caller. Hey there, caller. Yes, my brother.
That is my cousin.
How are you, my brother?
Yeah, all right.
Turn your radio down. Turn your radio down, or your equipment down, and just listen to your telephone.
Okay, cousin.
Listen to your telephone.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Labour don't got a plan, no?
No.
You know Labour don't got a plan? After we Labour campaign, Labour wait till when Trump said they're going to do this. They said they're going to do that. Labour ain't got not a plan. They don't work out the plan. They work out what other party say.
It seems that way. It seems that way. There's nothing outlined really.
They don't got no plan. They're going to say they're going to promise this and promise that, and they never fulfill the promise yet.
Okay.
No, I got a good friend here, right? And he doesn't work for the tech. He doesn't work in a Molino. They move him, put him in a large gang. No, they move him and put him as a man. I don't got to because they know that him back to that's wrong. I remember the turn and 6 people up and down. And that's wrong. Okay? Yeah. I name James Labour cares better than the Muslims. I don't care. That's wrong. The turning will be friend I put out I said my friend all the way down and they could go work and you're working again for what?
Yes.
Anyhow, I'm going back again.
Okay. Yes, my brother. My family, take care of yourself. Yeah.
Okay, cuz.
All right, cuz, man. Let's go to the lines. Caller, you're live.
Hello, Patrice, good night.
Good night, my dear. How art thou?
I'm good. The first 100 days national broadcast just blowing in the wind, just gone up in the wind. Just gone in the wind.
You listen to the broadcast?
Yes, it's gone in the wind.
Gone in the wind.
As the song said, we're just blowing in the wind.
Blowing in the wind, yes.
Yeah. Oh, well, I was listening the other day on a radio station. There, someone calling and said that Timothy said that he was the only one leave the most money in the treasury. And Douglas say he leave $9 million in the treasury.
900.
But then what happened that he left what is good, leave $9 million plus dollars in the treasury.
900.
Or IMF, $100 million or whatever. Yeah. Or IMF. Put on 17% VAT and tax them from the cradle to the grave. So does that make any sense? So in our Timothy leave the most money there.
Of course.
And they say he didn't do nothing. But when he went in, he take off the tax off of the cradle and the grave.
Mm-hmm.
So how he ain't do nothing? I was looking tonight for the Prime Minister to say that the VAT gone down.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking for him to say the VAT gone down because he said it was too high. So it wasn't exciting at all.
I think it is.
So as again, the talk just blowing in the wind.
Blowing in the wind, blowing in the wind.
Yeah, just going in the wind, blowing in the wind. Okay, you have a nice night, okay?
Have a good night as well. Thanks for your
You too, bye-bye.
input, intervention as usual. And yes, the answer is blowing in the wind. You know, and it's interesting. It's very interesting that the issues have not been addressed. And you wonder when are we going to address those issues? As that caller before has said that, you know, we have a country. We have a country to build. It seemed to do best, or the thing that seemed to do best is politicking and to travel. And what the people elect a government for is to govern, create avenues for jobs. But let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Yes, caller.
Mr. Liburd.
How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm not doing so bad for my age.
You're a young man. You're a young man. Age is wisdom.
I'm a young man, Mr. Liburd. I'm done over the hill. I done past the big fat lady. You know, when we used to go bingo at Jackta, you know, they used to say 55, the big fat lady. Mr. Liburd, I done past that and all.
That's time to live, man. That's time when you start enjoying life.
Yes, man, and that's why I retire at that age before Dr. Joe and the Labour government forced me to retire.
Oh, you retire?
And Mr. Liburd, that is something we need to talk on. Here is it, Mr. Liburd. I talk about it with the unity government. I talk about it with the Labour government. Right? And now Labour government again. Mr. Liburd, Dr. Douglas, at the time as the Prime Minister, went into Parliament, right, having the mandate of most of the parliamentarians inside the having the mandate, passing to law that at age 55 you have to retire. But as we go on, we see people in the 70s, the 80s, unity came into power, and we see people in the 70s and the 80s still in government, and both Dr. Douglas and Dr. Timothy Harris is telling people the nonsense that you need these people. I mean, come on. People have been working under them all the years, way younger than 20 and 30 years younger than them. These people cannot take the position, and these grandpa and grandma can't go home on the landing, or can't go on the beach, or can't go on a cruise, or something, and enjoy the retirement until when death comes for them. It's rubbish and nonsense. And now you see this not a Labour government again coming and bringing back some of these old grandpa and grandma as advisors and all kind of things, right? While we have thousands, it happened under the Labour government before, it happened under the unity government, and it happened under the Labour government again. And they're telling young people with all the degrees and all the alphabet letters come out of university and colleges, right, that there is no work for them. How come there is no work for them when you have people in 60 years, 70 years, into the 80s, right, getting pension, don't get a gratuity, getting social security, and still getting a government salary, and you have people owing all the banks them in Basti and in Charlestown, right? And need to pay at these banks, and these people getting 3 and 4 salary. Mr. Liburd, we have to done with this nonsense. We have to send these people home and make room for other young and middle-aged people to make the contribution to the federation.
Just a clarification.
And I have been saying this on all the governments.
Just a clarification, though, Carl Brown, all right? In 2011, the Douglas Labour administration introduced what they call the Public Service Bill, which allows civil servants to work up until 62 years. It's just that before 2011, those who were in the system, the Pension Act still applies to them. Like yourself, you said at 55 you had to retire. But right now, you can work in this. Once you came in after 2011, you can work until you're 62 years.
Mr. Weber, that is pure nonsense and rubbish.
What is rubbish?
You passed a law saying that age 55, you clear the way and you go home on retirement.
But
there is no excuse to say that you are holding on to grandpa and grandma.
I know, but I was trying to. I don't know if you got me. No, I'm saying, right? There's a public service bill that was tabled and passed in Parliament in 2011, right? That allows civil servants who came in after that particular year, they can work until they're 62 years old.
Until when they're
62. You retire at 62. Because those before 2011 were on the what they call the pensionable establishment. So those who now come in after 2011, it's a contributory pension you have to be part of, although it was not activated or operationalized. So, but those
yes, I was going to come to you to tell you that, that it was not operational, and it was not.
It was not operationalized because the deductions were made from the salaries. So that in itself is a dilemma, right? But now you have, like I said, you can work until you're 62 years old, as per the 2011 Public Service Bill. Okay.
Mr. Lever, that is rubbish and nonsense.
Okay.
Mr. Lever, we are having thousands of children graduating high school. Some go on to the boy, a few go on to the Boyan College. A few are able, with the parents and other family members and friends, to take loans from the different banking institutions in the Federation and go on to overseas colleges and universities. Yes, we have a number of people or persons would get a scholarship from different institutions and that sort of thing. But I am saying, Mr. Liburd, it's time for you to clear the way. You don't make your contribution. You don't put in 30 years. Some people put in 40 years. Some people even put in up to 50 years.
Okay.
Right? It's time for you to clear the way to let the young people make the contribution. Why are you going to hold up a job even if there's a law? You're putting so much aid. You're getting a social security. You're getting a pension. You're getting a government salary.
Okay.
Right? Why are you going to sit there, take your backside home and relax and enjoy your retirement and let the young people make contribution? These people have, you say to us, go educate yourself. These people go educate yourself. Come back with all the alphabet letters. Come back with all the top universities around the world. And you, 60 odd, 70 odd, 70 odd, 80 odd, and the whole of position, you don't make a contribution. Move out the way and let the young people make the contribution and then enjoy your retirement.
Okay, I got you, my brother. We got you loud and clear. And that's your position. And that's what.
I mean, come on.
Yes, I've got you, Carl Brown.
How are we going to create now?
Okay.
How are we going to make the young people make the contribution when we all of the old people are holding up their job?
Okay, Carl Brown. We got you loud and clear. We've said that so many times.
I'm 55 years old and I don't retire.
Okay, well, got you. Have yourself. Enjoy your retirement.
I'm waiting for someone, a young person, to come and be orderly at the hospital.
I've heard you.
I mean, come on, man.
I've heard you. Thanks for your input. We understand your passion about that position. But like I said, the public service bill was passed in 2011. And there's another argument to that. Some people argue, why you retire at 55 when you get Social Security at 62? So there are arguments on both sides. Caller, you're live. We want to thank you for holding. Hello, caller.
Is that for me?
Yes, you are live.
Is that for me, Patches?
Yes, my lord.
Patches.
How about thou, sir?
By the way, Patches, I heard you speaking about some QC and how much money they make or how much they're paid. By the way, we've rolled it over now. It's our KC. The Queen is gone. Anyway, that's a by the way.
I'm thanks for your guidance. The KC, King's Council, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, but
Yes.
It's officially rolled
Patches,
over.
What's that?
It's officially rolled over to KC.
Yes, automatically.
Okay,
yeah, I mean, it is.
Yes,
the Queen is dead. God save the King.
Yes,
However,
yes.
Patches, I've been following the program tonight, and it's very, very interesting about the AG and his cherry picking and so on. And I've got no doubt that, what's going to be exposed will be exposed in time. But there's another matter that just struck me very strongly over the weekend. And it is that the waiters and waitresses in this country, in the hospitality business, are working for just about the minimum wage. And there don't seem to be any management with respect to their services. Now, one of the things that I did in one of my previous lives when I was in North America, I represented a union, and that union had more members than the population of St. Kitts and Nevis. And they ensured that people were able to make it regardless to the industry that they were in. Now, over the weekend, I say, two things happened. Number one, I had to go and do some of my own shopping. And I was really surprised that you go to the grocery store, you go to the supermarkets, it doesn't matter which one because I think they're all the same. A couple of things you pick up and it costs you over $500. You go out for dinner, and dinner easily costs you $100, $150 US. And the people who are serving you this dinner, they're not even making that much in a week. And we talk about bringing in all of these people. You want more hotels. What you want more? Waitresses? Now, let me tell you something else. When I was in North America again, another stage of my life, we developed something called an impact benefit agreement. And I did a lot of work for indigenous people, fighting against the government of Canada, different provinces, and big utilities and so on. And every time that anyone is, including major mining companies, going into some place, you look at the impact that they're going to have, and they've got to contribute something. It was called an impact benefits agreement. And one of the things that we always indicated is jobs. And not just the lowest level entry jobs. If that's all the people are qualified for, that's fine. But you've got to bring with it a training program. So that after a certain time, these people got to be in middle management and moving up the ladder. You look around at all of these hotels, and you find me local management. So it's all well and good to say we are going to bring in these quote-unquote investors. And that's another matter for another time, because most of the investors coming here, and it goes right back to Indelco. And if you're old enough, you'll hear about Indelco. That was the first one that the Southwell Group was supposed to be bringing in to change St. Kitts forever. And we look at all of these people coming, and they're called investors with empty pockets. They come here, they go borrow money from the local banks. Local people can't access these banks. The jobs that they're creating are intended for what? And I'm going to remind you, Patches, you had a program where you had me on ZIZ, and we were looking at land policy in the Eastern Caribbean. And you and I reviewed a paper that was prepared by Dr. Len Ishmael, I think is her name. And it was presented at the heads of government meeting in Dominica, I think it is, around 2007. And it was looking at the amount of usable land that we've got in the Eastern Caribbean and recognizing that every time that land goes out of local hands, there's a very good chance it will never come back. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And when we look at all of these, another thing is, another one of my pet peeves is the CBI program. Because when you look at the money that came in, you look at Newtown and say, how much of it has trickled down to Newtown? Mm-hmm. You look at Irish Town, you look at the village, that's where I'm from. And I can walk you right around the entire island and ask, what are we doing? It's almost like if we're selling out the young people of tomorrow. It's not going to matter to you personally, Patches, because you're at that stage now that I think you've already crested. Mm-hmm. Me, I've already gone over the top. I'm almost down to the bottom. But I also remember what it was like when I was a young guy growing up. And it's about time that these governments start to work toward giving the young people
future,
hope, and a realistic future. Now, I don't think that is a good thing for us to right now start knocking the current government or the one that was in before. No, no, no. We are where we are. And there's an old saying, it is never too late to start doing the right thing. So rather than looking backward and trying to ways to vilify the Bradshaw government, or after that, the Southwell group, after that, the Limo government, after that, the Simmons government, after that, the Douglas government, after that, the Unity group, we got to start to look forward and say, we understand where we are and what can we do for the young people. That's my point, Patches.
Well said. Man.
And it sort of takes away the thrust of where you were going or where the people calling in were going. But I think it is something that we got to start looking at. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for your intervention, sound intervention, and you are always, there is always a spot here on Straight Talk for you to educate us, King's Council. Thanks a lot. Let's go straight back to the lines. Caller. Hello, caller.
Again.
Yes, my dear, how are you?
Lord, I have to laugh all night. You can hear me?
Yes, you're loud and clear. I listen one.
Yeah, I want to tell culture the name is not traveling. It's Joyride. Nothing coming back again. Nothing coming back. And they're going again.
Okay.
They're going again, is that? Joyride. They're going to say things for St. Kitts. But they're coming back with nothing. Half the things done do is to do, and it's them to do it. Anyway, I want to tell you that some people are calling on your program because their people was not there to hear them. Now they come back from the joyride. I hope they don't stop calling. Have to talk when it's good. They talk about Timothy and his family on Sugar Money and any other program. And know the best he was doing. They know the best he was doing. And the saying, the building and buying, nothing for them. They was working hard too. These have nothing to do, just joyride and coming back with nothing. If they have to pay for what they get, it was under Timothy still. His voters was not egging him and did not have to move from them. What constituency is that? You can tell me what constituency is that? What he do them? The name is they wanted, and that's they get. But what happened to them who they don't want? The Jew or 10 men in one? Something gone wrong. Where is the red? And the people, Mr. Liburd, about the land. I hope it's not for the people with the passport. Why the people can't get them yet? That's bad. They said they're doing to see who was getting one and getting two. They're going to rectify it. Stay home and do what you have to do. And the people feel good because your own people feeling it is them talking, them balling. Have a good night.
Have a good night, my dear. It's 1 before the 10 o'clock hour. Remember, we started 15 minutes late, so I'm going to give you back the 15 minutes. We waited on the Prime Minister's national address, and many people, it would seem, were disappointed with the content of that address. But let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live.
Patrick, good night.
How are you, my brother?
Boy, it's really blowing in the wind.
The answer is blowing in the wind, yes.
Patrick, the QC was on point, eh?
You reminded me.
QC was on point. We really feeling it in the pocket in the ghost wind. And the poor people ain't going nowhere, Poor people ain't going nowhere. Citizens wake up. Look at what's going on in Rams and Best Buy and elsewhere. They're trying them around the country. They're working for us, These people look like they're working against us. But you all do it. Get the rid of them, but again, the rid of we. We're getting the rid of we. Let me tell you something here. Years ago, everybody sing a song. And that song there resonates with me up to now. They say that slavery done, but they're fooling. I know they're fooling. They ain't fooling we. East Town and New Town. Maybe the rest they're fooling, but they ain't fooling we. People got to wake up and understand where we're going. Because I don't know these young men that can't really carry it, Right now, half of them get pushing them because the past, when they was on the out looking in, that running government is easy. It's like buying sugar cake down the alley down East Town by Miss Janet. That's the elite one, so. But this thing ain't easy. Because the man to help the man playing game, because he was ever back there. He trying his best. To don't come tell us what the corporate in Dubai is passport they used to sell with his girlfriend, And we are not leave his girlfriend as Zamba heat out of the picture, He's not going to leave them out of the picture. He has the man culture. He's not going to leave them out of the picture. Because somebody going to come and talk about the money. We give him money, honestly. And men take him out because they don't want to give back the money. They prefer to give foreign interest. We passport money than to give back that son of the soil back the money. Patrick, you have a good night.
Have a good night.
Who feels it knows it? Because I'm born here. Nobody going to tell me what to say and talk about. Good night, Alice. I'm Frederick Bayo.
Yes, good night. Have a good night.
That's where you're the devil.
Have a good night, my brother. Let's go back to, let's take this email. Patches, I'm sure that Junie, Liburd, and Jamie felt very embarrassed and ashamed with the Prime Minister's speech tonight. After the two predicted some exciting and amazing things he will touch on. But his speech turned out to be anti-clockwise. Well, Patches, my conclusion of the speech is what the Prime Minister said, and nothing is the same. Reads that email. It's now 3 past 10 o'clock. We are going until 10:15, so I'll take as many calls as come in. But if you joined us late, we were actually looking at the thesis tonight, the AG cherry picking the rule of law. Caller, I want to thank you for holding. You're live. Hello, caller.
Good night, Mr. Liburd.
Good night, my brother. How about thou?
I am blessed. I normally listen to your program, and then when I have a little input, I make it. I was listening to Carl Brown. Right? And made some good remarks. But you have to understand, with the young people that he wanted to come in when we done pass our 30 years or 40 years, whatever, in government. How many young people will want to take up that role? Because there's a lot of young people in this federation here doesn't want any work. I have to say so. Because you try your best to help them with the work, but there's not only people in work, and they just try to make you look bad and all sort of things. Because when I started to work, I had to show the person who get the work from me the best of the ability that I really want to perform my duties as doing something what he gets from me. But when you have to look coming to that night, you see that the young girls or son with the thing in the mouth, and it doesn't hurt me. I have nothing against them, but sometimes when they should be able to take that morning, go out, look at income to help the family or the children or whatever, and not to depend on some man or some inside family to help them. When you have your own, you feel better. And I think young Calvin had a good thing. You were trying to show him, well, what is the income is that, well, when you reach at a certain age, you have to move out. They have 62, and then, but when you look at the 62, you have some people that send them home. But 2 years or 3 years after, you hear them pass away because the teller said they could be out there working still and bring a little income, even though that they're not sending nothing to the government as like to Social Security. But they want to be proactive out still doing something. And when they go home, they start to lose mind, and the thing you hear, they pass away. And they feel the teller them they could be working. But anyhow, there's the next thing I want to explain to you. People have been meeting me and tell me that they're being disturbed. The lady from Martin or wherever she is to this your program. You're the host and you should have stopped her right away. And anybody who is a prime minister, nobody in the right mind should go on a radio station or a national radio station and try to speak bad about a prime minister. I won't do it. I will never speak what I will do to a prime minister and let them take that and not anything. That it is wrong, and as long as you're the host, just cut them out and let them go to the next station and settle. Not on your program.
Okay, got you, my brother.
So I tell the person I will speak to you openly on here, let people know they are not pleased of the way that how you perform with the lady, and let the lady speak. She was embarrassing herself and she is embarrassing our Prime Minister. We have to have respect for our Prime Minister.
Okay, my brother, thanks for your intervention.
Have a pleasant night.
Have a pleasant night as well. This email reads, Patches, what a waste of time listening to the Prime Minister tonight. What is he boasting about? Has not accomplished anything. What has he done to improve the life of poor and needy in this country? We want to hear about the bread and butter issues. Does the Prime Minister realize that the price of food in the supermarkets is going up every day and that people are finding it hard to eat food? Poor people don't want to hear just about 100 days. They want to hear that tomorrow you're starting the re-registration of the PAP. Stop saying that the PAP is under revamping and enhancing. That's just a load of talk. That's all you do. We the poor people don't want to hear no more talk. And your 100 days, we need help. Reads that email. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller? Caller, you have your radio on? Just turn it off. Okay, we'll take this other call. Yes, caller, you are live. Yes, sir.
This is the Major.
Major, how are you? I am peaceful. Yourself?
I'm cool. You see, I just made up in a sort of, you don't have to really hint up. I want you to ask you a question, you know, because they ain't get things good to them. They ain't get things right. Here's the question I want to ask you. What would you rather to listen to your partner or me? Is it honest feeling or there is accusation of what you did wrong or what they think is wrong? What you prefer to listen to? We have to fight fear. You know? We have to fight fear. You see, I like to fight fear. You see, if I want something, we have to ask for it. If we don't want it, we don't ask for it. And as a friend always said it, and you must remember this. A friend told me, the old people used to say, "What you buy, you will." But my friend told me, he said, whatever you buy, you put on. You understand? You heard me?
Yes, I'm listening to you, Major.
Whatever you buy, you put on. You can't buy what you wear. Whatever you buy, you wear. So if you prefer to hear, I was listening to one or two people. They're making some stupid answers. They take, one for the take a call. Now return. You were like that? No one marathon and one you know we used to go for.
Okay. Okay, Major. Fallout, Major. Thanks for your input.
Let me tell you, remember this, Patty. Remember this. It ain't what you buy, you wear.
What you buy, you put on.
What you buy, you put on. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your input. That's Major Jones. Fallout, Major. I'm going to take a few more calls before we wrap tonight. Caller, you are live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller? Hello, caller. Caller, you're listening to the radio. Just listen to the phone. Okay, I'll take this other call since that caller seems to be interested. Caller, you are live.
Okay, you let me go here, Patches. Oh, yes, you know better. You paying me listening to the radio. You let me go here.
You're live.
Now, let's talk about the youth. And every year, they have a children's wall children. Now, which should have more priority? This children's school or the hospital? Because we have 3 hospitals in St. Kitts. We have Joseph in France, we have Paxton, and we have Mary Charles. But we do not have a permanent school structure for the children them. We just happened to the old grammar school building. And it's more than 5 years now since the children up Taylor's Range in Tulang Wooden House. And the last government that we had here, they already started preparation to put down the building new school. And they come with a foolishness about human excrete going down in water, in ground and all kind of thing and let down. And nothing goes up. It's going to be a state of the art where all the human feces going to be recycled. And then the water go down in the sea. No feces at all going to be seen. So when they're talking about they're going to build new hospital, what happened to the school? The children them need the proper school to go into. Because what they'll be up there is like they're suffocating. They do not have the facilities up there to use.
Okay.
But you see what happened to them? They want to say, well, then that they're doing things different to the plan that the unity government left there.
Okay, got you, my brother.
I go on, man. The place where they go, okay, let me go till next week, buddy. Let me go.
Yeah, I'm out of time. Around the time, I want to take about 2 more calls. I got you 3 times for the night, so let's try to share it. Are you there, caller? Hey there, caller. Caller, you live. Hello, caller.
Hello, good night, good night.
Yes,
Mr.
you're live.
Liburd, how are you tonight?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Yes, everything gonna do happen next year. Everything. If you ever put on a pot to cook and it don't cook right away, that's a hurry pot. You go and look the provision if you're cooking soup and your yam, potato, dashing and meal. And then you start to cook them piece by piece. Remember the masher fast, you start to take your time and cook them. The breadfruit, you put it in that pot and you take it out. Take on a masher. Give Mr. Joe break, he young and whatever he go to do. He know what he doing. He's searching. The unfinished person was in there. They should have done some of that.
Okay.
I don't know what this complaint about everybody. You got to search.
Okay.
If they go out there, they're searching for better St. Kitts.
Okay.
And I talk about the tax. So for the tax there, who went in after 2010 make the tax here, but they never know. Because it's sweet to everybody.
Okay.
It's sweet, them is sweet, this one is sweet, the other one.
I've got you,
And
baby.
about the money. The money gonna pay me your younger money soon. In November, money paid. I see money coming in November. I see money coming.
Okay.
Let Mr. Dr. Jolo.
Okay.
Don't give me time to breathe and let you run the country right. And you have a good night, a safe drive home and all Wexdale.
Have a good night as well, my dear brother. That's what Straight Talk is all about. I'll take my final call for the night. If this caller can use 10 seconds, I'll take and make this my final call for the night. Or perhaps if this caller can use 30 seconds, I'll take the other one. Caller, you live.
Yo, brother Patches, how you doing?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm great. I'm nice to know that you're looking very wonderful as a brother of mine.
Oh, that's New York in the house. How art thou?
Yes, sir. That's so. I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm glad to know that you're hosting everybody peacefully and making everybody happy as usual.
I'm trying, my brother. But nice to hear your voice. Getting ready for the winter.
Yeah, I know. We preparing everything here and we piling up. So, for you, I hope to see you up here one of these days soon.
I look forward to that. My brother.
Yeah, we're going to host you up here, man. Come on, man. We want to have a host up here. Or a forum up here, and we can do something up here at Kenny's garage and do something up here.
I look forward
and everybody can be... Don't worry about nothing. You stay strong and be safe. And I'm glad to know that the way you host everybody, you give everybody a peace.
Yes, that's what Straight Talk is all about, my brother. Have yourself a good night. Yes.
Yes, good night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Caller, I'm going to give you 15 seconds. Can you use it? Thank you for holding.
Patches.
Yes, my brother.
Patches.
Yes, my brother.
Sunday night we had two cool ships. One went early and one went late. And there was Sky and the new Patches Steel. And when you go down Orange Town, and then you go up to Fort Thomas Road and go down by the garden, and you look at the new Patches Steel, so you put me to them and say, find a bad things about. Oh, what was the fight about after 10? And the Bastille Roadstead. Patches, you can solve this country well enough. But who knows? And you say, who not get never back again? Who can't see him and see again? They should go up in the cemetery and bury themselves. That is all about Nigeria. The man in government need like you and others who could perform the talk. Performance. No only Patches. We had two shit down there today. And when I walk to the Pelican Mall and I see some bathrooms, where the minister before about we get a new minister and the same thing is like the same old thing. The representative to please fix the bathroom before Christmas come in and visitors come here to hear what we jam never talk about it because they don't stop talk about it. It's embarrassing in the Pelican Mall. From both sides and the Pelican Mall you enter. The toilets themselves are spin. And when you find them, you see the same thing that they were doing. No kind of faces.
Okay.
Now we could have better than that patches, you know that.
Yes, we can. Okay, my brother.
We could have better than that. And this is what people else are trying to know, making difference in the country.
Okay, my
You
brother.
take care, man.
Have yourself a good night, my brother. Thanks for your input. Always so passionate. My lines are going, but hear what? My time is done, and I got to run. I gave you back 15 minutes and a little more. I want to thank Jamster for his understanding. I want to thank all of you. Tonight we looked at the AG cherry-picking the rule of law. Right? We looked at the AG continuing to deploy privileged information to support his rantings, or as someone put it, his pomposity. The AG is a litigator. Then he must know that he is a litigator, that he should be cautious. But common sense tells us that a court will require disclosure of any privileged or confidential material that he's using to bolster his public rantings. My Straight Talk people, my Straight Talk family, we have looked at the procurement process. We'll do much more about that, but the time is done and I've got to run. I want to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight, and as always, I want to thank you, the many callers. I want to thank you, the emailers. I want to thank you, the many listeners on social media and on the Big Bad Win FM. Without you, there is no Straight Talk. All of you are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that I say a big, big thank you. I'm Ian Patch Liburd, and God's willing we'll connect on Thursday for another edition of Straight Talk. Until we connect, then be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. And remember that whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, my Straight Talk family, you got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Until we connect, bye-bye. My Straight Talk family, keep moving on. As I said, whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. Bye-bye. Straight Talk.
The morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. For the rest of food and loving care, and for my mother's breath of life that's got me here. So whatever my mind conceives, that I will achieve, you better believe. I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on, till I reach the top somehow. Down on my knees, the Lord I kneel and pray, my heart and soul, beg Him to take me through each day, my guardian to keep and my guide, over every step I take, He will preside. So whatever my mind conceives, that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good.